What's up guys, Stevie Street Bike here. I want to do a little video today of kind of a point of view, what it's like to ride a motorcycle, and I want to keep it beginner friendly. I think a lot of people try to get too technical with things, and I remember what it was like when I was first riding or first wanting to learn how to ride a bike. I wanted to know all the little details, so I'm going to try to just talk through some of my thoughts while I'm riding. So this is really geared towards beginners, and so I hope it helps somebody if you stumble across this video. So right now I'm just cruising on this back road here. Look at this car, he's got a signal on. I want to make sure he comes to a stop and he sees me. He does, but you want to be prepared to make a move right there. Those are one of the most dangerous motorcycle crashes, is somebody turning in front of you. So one thing that a guy told me when I was riding is always watch their wheels. If a car is sideways, like gonna pull out, watch their wheels. Don't try to look at their eyes or whatever if they're looking at you or not. Watch those wheels and make sure they're not moving towards you. Now these little stop signs and stuff, definitely get used to just planting your left foot down. That's going to help you when you start riding heavier bikes. If you start out on something like a little 250 or 300 and you're sitting low to the ground or whatever, you're not going to think about that stuff. But when you get on a taller bike like I'm on right now, and a heavier bike, come to a stop with your right foot on the brake, and I just put my left foot down. That's all I do. And I'm sitting here just pointed on my left foot, and then you can take off. That also helps when you're on a hill, whether you're uphill or downhill. You can keep your right foot on that brake, and it's going to keep you still until you can feel yourself moving. Another thing that beginners they struggle with is stalling. I don't think you should struggle with stalling, and I think people are scared to give it too much gas or too much throttle, I guess you should say, on a motorcycle. But watch right here. I'm gonna give it some throttle, man. As long as you let out easy on the clutch, don't be afraid to give it some more throttle. Just don't pop the clutch out and transfer that power to the back wheel. Now that's not good to always take off like that, but while you're getting used to it, it's okay to give it more throttle than it needs, as long as you let out that clutch softly. Alright, so I'm gonna make a turn here, put my signal on. I'm checking behind me to make sure nobody's trying to run over my butt, and I'm gonna make the turn. Simple as that. Now right here, oh, check this out. We got some loose gravels, y'all, right here in front of me. That's sketch. So right here, I'm just gonna want to ease out over this gravel, and I want to try to keep this wheel straight as I'm going over the gravel. I don't want to be turning. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go straight across those gravels, no problem. Just don't gas it real hard, and don't turn your wheel real hard, and you'll be okay. That's the main thing when you see gravel. As long as your wheel's straight or your tire's straight, you're gonna be okay. So don't worry too much. Again, I'm coming to a stop. I want to check behind me. I want to make sure that car stopped behind me. It did. Got a train that we got to get around. So here we go, little detour. Gosh, it smells like barbecue through here, and it smells awesome. So another thing is speed is stability, man. That's why you got to work your clutch and get used to those friction zones. As long as you're moving, you're stable. It's when you kill the power to the rear wheel that things get a little, that's when you can drop a bike for sure. And so my only drop I've ever had was on my FJR 1300, and I was trying to turn around in my yard, and I pulled the clutch in too far and killed the power, and I already had the handlebars turned, and yep, I fell. So I learn from that mistake, and yeah, definitely you want to learn how to use your clutch to keep you rolling at slow speeds without stalling the bike out. That is a big deal. This traffic sucks pure nipples, man. Alright, so another thing, when I first started, or before I even rode my first motorcycle, I was scared of hitting bumps and things like that. I'm about to show you. I'm going over the railroad track here. Look, I mean, I don't know if you can tell. That's smooth as butter. I don't know why I was so worried. Alright, so I'm going to make a right turn up here. And I can already see some loose gravels. So I'm going to want to take this right turn pretty easy. Try to straighten it up as much as I can. Nice and slow. Went through the gravels, no problem. You don't want to hit that turn back there too fast, because you'll be eating pavement, let me tell you. But don't let that stuff freak you out. You just gotta, you gotta be smart. And really, speed is what gets you in a lot of trouble, which I know it's hard to do. It's hard to not go fast on a motorcycle. Trust me, it's a blast. But man, you got to be smart. Let's see what this car is doing. Are you gonna let me go, or? Okay, she had the right of way, but hey, if you're gonna let me go, whatever. Finally getting some air flowing through the jacket. Whew, got pretty warm in traffic. Now watch, I'm watching this car to my left here. Making sure, watching those wheels, man. Making sure he ain't gonna pull out in front of me. Another trick that it took me a little bit to learn, and maybe it's because I didn't take a safety course, or maybe it's because I didn't pay attention to the book that I read. But man, I didn't know anything about counter steering when I started. And that can get you in some serious trouble. If you don't know what counter steering is, if you're a beginner, basically, everybody thinks you lean the bike. Well, the way, I kind of thought I just moved my body around and it leans the bike. No, you got to counter steer into the turn. So like up here, this curve's going to the left. I'm actually going to turn my handlebars to the right, and that's going to throw my bike over. Now I'll go to the left to go back right. On a curvy road, I'm telling you, so like, I can do it one-handed, but it's basically, think the opposite that you would do on a bicycle, and that's when you're at speed. Now, like when you're in a parking lot going real slow, you'll still steer it the normal way, but when you get up to speed, even this turn here, this is a slow second gear turn, and I kind of counter steer it a little bit, kind of let the bike fall into the turn. But I'll show you, like right now, one-handed, because I can counter steer. I can steer just fine into this curve. One-handed, not a problem. I can control everything with just either pushing forward or pulling back. So right here, I'm going to push forward, turn my handlebars to the left to take this right-handed turn. Like I could do this all. I could ride this whole road with one hand because counter steering. It's something you definitely need to know when you start riding. That's for sure, because it can keep you out of some pretty hairy situations. Definitely like if the wind's blowing you. Well, let's say the wind was blowing from my left to my right, and it was blowing me towards this grass. I can counter steer against the wind and keep me more in the middle lane. So it's not just handy for curvy roads. I mean, just in a straight line, you still counter steer. That's how you dodge things. So counter steering is very important. It's something that you need to know. But anyways, that's all I have for you. I hope this helps some beginner to feel more comfortable on a bike and get out there. And if you've never rode a bike and you know, you're just trying to look up stuff on YouTube to see what the experience is like, I'm telling you, man, it is an absolute blast. I appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe, and leave a comment. I'd love to talk to you. We'll catch you later.